Welcome to Kickin with the Rickens, redefining retirement. Gerry, Ricken, and Heidi Ricken Provost want to help you retire with purpose and live with joy. Find more information, including how to reach the team, in today's show notes. Now, Kickin with the Rickens, powered by Ricken Financial.
Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for listening to Kickin with the Rickens podcast. We are here with retirement planner Heidi Ricken Provost and licensed insurance professional Gerry Ricken. My name is Mark Owens. We invite you to get more at rickenfinancial.com. You can get all the information here in the show notes. Thanks again for subscribing. Now, let's get to the show. Let's get heavy into Roth conversions. And it's something and a conversation we need to have sooner than later, Heidi.
Well, we talked about what the difference between a traditional and a Roth would be when it comes to the money that you're saving for the future. But one thing we failed to mention, a majority of the funds in America that are saved for our financial future are in those traditional accounts. So it might be in your employer-sponsored plans or in an IRA. But if you have traditional, you know that in the future, when the money comes out, you have to pay tax on it. If you're sitting here and you're born after 1960 and you have quite a few years until you turn age 75, you do have an opportunity to do what's called a Roth conversion. So you can take a portion of those traditional funds that you've saved for the future, pay the tax on them today, and if you're over the age of 59 and a half, the funds themselves can pay the tax. If you're under 59 and a half, got to come out of pocket to pay the tax here. And those after-tax dollars can be transferred to Roth so that as long as they sit there for 5 years and you're over the age of 59 and a half, whenever you touch those, they're going to become tax-free to you. It's called a Roth conversion, and it seems to be a buzzword in our industry. Everyone's saying Roth conversions are the greatest in the world. Everyone should convert everything to Roth conversions. There's a lot of talking heads out there. Let me tell you, every single person we have met with has a different answer for whether a Roth conversion works for them. And if so, how much to convert to Roth, because it's going to be based upon your personal tax plan.
Just like when you look at your index finger, you each have a fingerprint there. Your tax plan and your tax strategy is different. It's a fingerprint. It's different for you and your spouse if you're married, or for you individually, than anyone else in the world. So it's very, very important to take a deep dive down into what that really means. What do your investments look like? What kind of income will you have in retirement? Will you have a pension? How do you claim Social Security benefits? All those things add into your whole overall tax strategy. So when is the most optimal time to convert from traditional to Roth? That question is an individual question. There isn't a blanket answer. Do you convert 100%? Our answer to that is probably not, because you can have a certain amount in traditional and still be tax-free in retirement. And that's our overall goal, is to get our clients tax-free at some point, sooner rather than later, in their retirement years. Whether you're born before 1960 or after 1960, the Roth conversions differ in one thing, and that is a couple of years. If you're born before 1960, 73 is your magic number. If you're born after 1960, 75 is that magic number for when the IRS dictates when you take money out. So if you'd like to learn more about that whole process, please call us at 314-207-6211 or hit us up at rickenfinancial.com.
Gerry mentioned something earlier. Is there going to be an opportune time to do this? Well, yes and no, but I'll tell you, if you're sitting here and you might have some wiggle room left in your tax bracket this year, you can proactively plan what your taxation is going to look like in 2025. And if you have some space left in there to do a Roth conversion, yeah, it might make some sense to take advantage of that now. It takes a little bit of time to put together a tax plan and see if you have some wiggle room to do a conversion this year. But there is one caveat I want to share, that we do think there is an optimal time of when you can do a Roth conversion, and that is the timing throughout the year. If you're making a conversion in November, December, towards the end of the year, yeah, that's great. But why not start in January of every year and do some conversions? Because that means you're going to have 11 to 12 months throughout the year of compounded interest and growth that you don't have to pay tax on now. So if your goal is to get ahead of the taxation for the future, the sooner you make those conversions, the better off your money is going to be in the end. So if you want to know if a conversion makes sense for you, how to take advantage of the rest of this year and put together that proactive tax plan so that come January, you're prepared and know if you should be converting some money to Roth and how much, if it falls into your plan. Let's have a conversation today because it takes a little bit of time to put that plan together. And that way you can get ahead of the story come January. We'd love to have that conversation and begin the plan. You just need to give us a call at 314-207-6211. We also mentioned earlier, you want to convert something to Roth. Maybe that works for you, maybe it doesn't. But why would we not convert the entire amount? There are ways to have withdrawals from your 401ks and IRAs in the future without having to pay tax on it. You can proactively plan the taxation so that when money is coming in, maybe you fall underneath the guidelines that your income is not going to be taxable. Well, what if you have a required minimum distribution in the future coming out of an IRA, Dad, that you might want to reduce some taxation on? What can you take advantage of?
One of the things you can take advantage of is if you are required minimum distribution age, and that's 73 and 75, as we just mentioned, what you can do is, if you're charitably inclined, you can take advantage of something called a qualified charitable distribution. A qualified charitable distribution meets the definition and the guidelines of your required minimum distribution. And here's how that works. Let's say you give $5,000 to charities throughout the year. What you can do is take $5,000 of your RMD amount, direct that to charities, and not have to pay tax on that by using a qualified charitable distribution. It's a simple plan, and a lot of people don't take advantage of that because they are not aware of that. Otherwise, you'll take the required minimum distribution, pay your tax on it, then after-tax money is used to give it to your charitable causes. Why not take advantage of that and make sure that you're taking advantage of what's available to you in the tax code to reduce your taxable income? So if you're interested in finding out more, call us at 314-207-6211. That's 6211. Or just type in rickenfinancial.com on your phone, on your computer, and we're available 24/7 there. So just reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. One of the things that we'd also like to talk about is people say, well, why would I Roth convert? One of the reasons is because of taxation of Social Security. Social Security, people don't think that it's taxed because they thought it was a tax when you paid it in. So Social Security is taxed when it's coming out. So Heidi, why don't we talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So that is a common misconception. And a lot of people will say, well, Social Security was a tax I paid back in the day, so it's not going to become taxable. Or more often than not, what we hear lately is, I thought when they passed that bill thing that my Social Security is not going to be taxable anymore. Unfortunately, that did not get passed in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It was something that they wanted to try to pass, but they weren't able to push off taxation of Social Security. So at the end of the day, if you're a high wage earner, 15% of your Social Security benefits can be free of taxation.
Under current law.
Yeah, let's share that caveat one more time. We know this is tax law. It can change at any point in time. As of today, if you don't make very much money, then your Social Security may or may not be taxable. So the way that Social Security taxation works is they're going to take half of your Social Security benefits, add all the other streams of income you have to that, plus interest on municipal bonds, which has no taxation, but gets added into here. And if you make basically over $30,000, 50% of your benefits are going to be taxable. If you make about $40,000 or more, 85% of your benefits are going to become taxable to you. So there's a way to reduce the taxation of Social Security if you don't have to have large required minimum distributions coming into you in the future, but you just have to have a little bit of time to plan for it so that you can reduce some of the taxation of Social Security in the future. And if you have a little bit of time and you want to put that plan together, we'd love to put that plan together with you. Just give us a call at 314-207-6211. Or if you have questions about Social Security, how it's going to affect your taxation, or where you fall in line with the taxation of Social Security, we'd love to chat about that as well. The other tax that a lot of people have been hung up on lately when it comes to Roth conversions, well, it's not your great aunt, but it's something called Irma.
And I don't have an Aunt Irma, but my mom's maiden name was Net, and I actually had an Aunt Clarinet. First name Clara, last name Net. But I don't have an Aunt Irma. But Heidi, talk to us about Irma.
Is that real or is that a
Yes,
Gerryism?
no, that's actually real.
That's very real.
Here's the sad part. I never know with Gerry if he's being honest or if he's just throwing the Gerryisms out there, but there really is an Aunt Clarinet.
Mark, for about 15 years, I thought that was a dad joke. God bless her, and may she be resting in peace.
Right.
My grandma Dolores, my dad's mom, most wonderful human being I've ever met in my entire life. I did not believe that there was a Clarinet until Grandma said yes.
That's true.
I thought Dad was just pulling our leg.
That's
but
fantastic.
Aunt Clarinet.
All right, well, let's sing a tune about Aunt Irma and our love-hate relationship with her. Tell me about it.
Well, Irma's a hidden tax, as we like to call it, because Irma is the name of how much money gets to come out of your Social Security benefits and or your pocket to pay for Medicare. So the amount of money you need to pay for your portion of Medicare, not your supplement or anything like that, but your portion of Medicare tax for covering you for your health insurance when you're over the age of 65. It's called Irma. And, some people might be curious about Irma for one reason. They'll do a Roth conversion and your income might increase because of the Roth conversion. It's going to, because it'll be higher than your typical income. And they'll say, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want to have to pay extra Irma for a year or two, because it's based upon last 2 years of income taxes, how much you have to pay for your Medicare premiums. Well, I can understand that one if you don't want to pay more than the bare minimum or what you're used to paying for Irma. But would you rather decrease Irma for the next few years and then let your funds continue to grow and grow and grow? And then when you're taking your required minimum distributions, pay more Irma for the rest of your life? You could be 95 like my mom's mom is right now. She never thought she'd live that long. None of us are in control of that. We don't have a crystal ball. At the end of the day, don't let Irma hold you back from making a financial decision today, because if it were me, I would rather pay increased Irma for a couple years versus maybe 30, 40 years of my retirement. And let me ask you this question, Gerry, because there's a lot of misinformation here too. And some people get Medicare and Medicaid confused. What is Medicare?
Let's step back. If we're working before age 65, most of us, I hope all of us, have health insurance coverage. Health insurance coverage, you go to the doctor, you pay a copay, you have a deductible, you pay your premiums, maybe it's taken out of your paycheck on a monthly, weekly basis, however you get paid. So this is a program administered by the federal government called Medicare. And Medicare replaces your health care coverage at age 65. That is the requirement. The only requirement to satisfy for Medicare is turning age 65. At age 65, you're eligible for the government administered programs called Medicare. In addition to what the government you can get through the government programs, you also have the opportunity to purchase a supplemental or an advantage type plan to cover all of your other costs, including drugs.
Because at the end of the day, Medicare is the insurance provided by the government, but it doesn't cover absolutely everything. So Medicare plus an advantage or a supplement plan is going to cover you for your health insurance when you're age 65 and beyond. And as Gerry mentioned, as long as you're age 65, you qualify. So that one is just based upon your age. I will tell you, we've had a lot of people meet with us lately, and we're having a conversation about health for the future. We're having a conversation about long-term care, and they'll say, well, I know I'm covered for long-term care because my Medicare supplement covers me for that. Let's get ahead of that misconception as well. There are no Medicare supplements in the world that cover you for long-term care. You can get some short care, in like a skilled facility or a step-down unit after the hospital. But Medicare is not going to step in for long-term care because there's something else out there in the government that does step in the event you need long-term care, and that is
Medicaid.
Think Medicare equals healthcare. Medicaid is aid for the elderly or the poor. So Medicaid would be what steps in for long-term care needs in the future if you qualify there. That one, there's no qualification based on age. There's qualification based on income and assets.
Yes, need. it's difficult to qualify for. So if you'd like to learn how to qualify for that, just call us at 314-207-6211 or reach out at rickenfinancial.com. But there are other ways to cover long-term care expenses besides qualifying for Medicaid, because Medicaid, you have to basically spend down all of your assets and be impoverished.
Or on paper, you have to be impoverished if you have moved everything into a trust at least 5 years prior to needing Medicaid, and you're not in control of your assets anymore. And at the end of the day, I like to be in control of my assets. The other thing is, Medicaid is different state to state. Now, you're listening right now because you're in the state of Missouri, or you might be in the state of Illinois, just on the other side of the river here.
Or you could be listening on the Odyssey app anywhere around the world.
But if you're listening and tuning in from Missouri, know that Medicaid, when it comes to Missouri, doesn't cover long-term care when it comes to your home. So if you want to stay in your house for the rest of your life and have someone come in and do home health care for you, there is no coverage in Medicaid for that. You have to go into a facility that has a Medicaid bed available for you after you financially qualify for Medicaid in order to take advantage of the plan. If you want to be a little bit more in control of your long-term care needs for the future, because more often than not, when we're talking to people about long-term care, their wishes are to stay in their home as long as they possibly can, or to go into this specific place. If that's your wish, you're going to need some different type of coverage for long-term care beyond Medicaid. And that could be a multitude of different ways that you can cover it. You can do what's called self-insuring. Spend down the assets you've saved for the future towards that care. Or you can push the onus off onto an insurance company.
And when you look at a spend down, if you're self-insuring and spending that down, we talked earlier about Roth conversions and traditional versus Roth, IRAs, 401ks. Just think about this. If you have all of your money or most of your money in traditional form where you haven't paid tax for it and you need long-term care and you're not covered by, you haven't pushed the onus off to an insurance company, you're going to be paying higher taxes to get that kind of care that you need.
So if you want to push off the onus onto an insurance company, there's traditional long-term care that people have been using for years and years. It's hard to qualify for. It's very costly. And if you don't use it, you lose it. Or there are new ways to qualify for long-term care through life insurance as well, where the money stays in the family no matter what. And if you need the care, you can use tax-free funds and spend down your death benefit from a life insurance plan while you're alive. If you don't need the care, that life insurance money is going to go to your beneficiaries tax-free. If you want to know all the different ways you can cover long-term care and what really works best in your plan, we'd love to take you through the Purpose Approach. The Purpose Approach is the name of how we help you come up with a financial plan for your future that's going to cover all aspects of your retirement, including long-term care. So we're going to start with you. What do you want to do with your time? And what's going to feed your soul? Then we help you build your entire financial strategy surrounding that purpose for you. And we'd love to get started. You just simply need to give us a buzz or head over to our website, but give us a call at 314-207-6211, 314-207-6211, and let's start that purpose approach for you. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you have control over your financial future and access to the type of care that you'd like if you need long-term care, and access to the type of financial planning tools you might be able to utilize to put yourself in a better financial situation.
Heidi, Gerry, thank you. Thank you for the education and the information this weekend. Before we get out of here, take us home.
Every day is a holiday.
Life is short. Laugh hard.
This has been Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Ricken Financial LLC. Ricken Financial LLC is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Ricken Financial LLC are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Ricken Financial LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Ricken Financial LLC.
Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.
Tax preparation and tax advisory services are offered through Ricken Financial. These services are not offered by IPW and are not subject to investment advisor requirements. These services referenced are an outside business activity not offered through or supervised by IPW.